Hey everybody, we are back here with another Thinking Cap episode, and today we have the man himself, Mr. Mark Gai, executive communication coach and professional speaker. How's it going, Mark?
Excellent, thanks for having me. Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. I hope you have a good day.
Ooh, nice. So we are ready to get started.
Yes, sir.
But before we get started, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to get lit?
I am ready to get lit. Okay, all right. Hey, hi, how are we looking?
Lit. So, Mr. Mark Gai, please enlighten the viewers here and let us know a little bit about yourself and what you have going on.
Well, thank you, Ian. It's my pleasure to share something about myself. I'm a coach. I work with leaders and business owners to help them to find their voice in spoken language. And I help them with body language and with their speaking. And that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And I travel around the country, around the state, in front of audiences and help them find something, the message that they have inside of them, and sometimes maybe they're too afraid or they discount their own stories or their own values, and I try to bring that out of them and make sure that the world can see that.
That is awesome. And I remember when I first met you,
yes.
Mark, you were giving a talk at a youth conference, it was incredible. It was a phenomenal talk, but something that I always like to joke with you about that I remember from the end, you said that given your story, you had met a family at some time along in your story,
yes.
And you said that you actually they embraced you first, and then you embraced them back in Russia, because Mark, you're Russian, right?
Yes, I speak Russian sometimes. Yes, I do.
and you said that the Russian culture isn't too affectionate.
Right.
So you said when this family embraced you, it was different, but you braced them back. So now we call you the hugging Russian.
I love that. I love that, and I think it's about being who you are. If you like to give affection or receive affection, stay in your truth. Because whatever it is, you gotta stay in your truth. Because we don't have time to be fake. I don't have time to be fake. Do you have time to be fake?
I don't.
I don't know about you guys, but if you're not true to who you are, I think you're living your life in waste. And I believe life is too short to do anything that is not authentic.
Wow.
So if you want to be a hugger, be a hugger. If you don't want to be a hugger, fine, don't be a hugger. Just don't fake it. Because if you fake it, I just don't have time for that.
True, so true. Wow. And another important thing I want to let the viewers know is you just gave a huge talk recently.
Yes, I did.
Share what that is.
If you're talking about a TEDx talk?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I recently had a pleasure and honor and a privilege to be a participant at a TEDx stage in Ocala. And I want to give a shout out to TEDxOcala organizers. I believe this is one of the premier TEDx events in the country. Absolutely. It draws a huge crowd. It's organized. Everything is high level, world class. I recommend for every one of you to attend a future TEDxOcala talk.
Yes.
And you were in the audience too?
I was in the audience.
You're probably cheering for me the loudest.
Yes, my lady. Yes.
Right?
Yes. My lady and I, Sharina, were excited to see you talk the most, because the other speakers, we didn't know them too well beforehand, and we loved all of the talks. They were phenomenal.
Absolutely.
But of course, we knew you were speaking, and so we went there with some intention on shouting you out and cheering for you.
I'm great. You know what I like to think about is the people that you don't know yet. Sometimes when I take the stage, I like to take have a humor and lightness and playfulness, because I want to have a conversation with the audience. I don't want to just come up and preach or speak. By the way, I tried all of that. I tried preaching and speaking and it does not work. The only thing that truly works is if you have a conversation. If you have a conversation with your audience and you reveal who you are, because every time you take a stage, you take a risk. You take a risk that you may do too much or too little, or you may put your finger in your ear, or you may scratch something, you may stumble, and you take a risk. But every time you speak, you reveal who you are. And I like to say that the people that I haven't met yet, they're just my friends that I haven't met yet. So, and then you try to include everyone right away.
I like it. You're already calling them friends before you meet them.
Absolutely. And so they raise up to my expectation. I become their friend and they become my friend. I don't want to get too much into the semantics, what is friendship. I accept you as my friend. I accept you as my friend, and I hope you will do the same. And if you're not, I hope we can still be friends.
That's awesome. So if you all watch until the end, we are going to put his links in the video at the end so you can connect with him, but please check out his TEDx talk. It was phenomenal.
It was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
At least I felt so. I felt so. Because the energy in the room, it just uplifts you. And I believe if you had any opportunity to be a speaker or be the attendee, I think there's an energy exchange between you and the speaker and the audience. And the audience wants the speaker to do so well, they uplift them. And when you're a speaker, you become a little bigger. You're like, okay, I got this.
No wonder why you look so tall on stage.
Well, it's just something that you get maybe adrenaline and it moves you to the next plane of performance. And I think you know this as well. Every time you're a performer, there's just something kicks in and you just
the energy, from the audience.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, Mr. Gai, if you don't mind, I'm just going to prep our viewers real quick on the enlightened round, and then we'll get started.
I cannot wait.
Awesome. So, the enlightened round, for those of you watching for the first time, the enlightened round is a round where I ask Mr. Gai, or our guest for the episode, a series of questions. And these questions are rapid fire questions. And as soon as Mark's done answering the first question, we move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. So we're going to get started with this enlightened round and let you see a little bit more into Mark, who he is, and his mindset, and how he thinks, and everything. So let's get motivated.
Let's do it.
Ready for the enlightened round?
I'm ready now.
Enlightened round.
Honestly, Ian, I have always thought of myself as not creative person. Somebody who runs away from being creative. Maybe it was my shyness or my awkwardness or just the way I was brought up. And I realized that you don't have to ask for anyone's permission to be creative, to be imaginative. All you have to do is just have to decide and do it. Because if you commit to it, to be creative and open yourself to different associations and experiences and events and people, things, you will see patterns. You will see things that you have not seen before. And it's a decision. No matter where you have come from, no matter what you have done, you can always change. And it starts with a decision. If you think you're not creative, you will be not creative. But if you think you are creative and you just go after it, magic will happen.
That's awesome. And when did you make that decision?
I would say probably just a few years ago. I decided, you know what? Today I'm going to be creative. And I don't care what anybody says, I'm just going to go for it.
Nice.
Excellent. Thank you. I'd like to address this failure and disappointment head on. A few years ago, I served as a leader at a nonprofit organization. And as a young man, there's always this tendency, okay, I'm going to take it easy. I don't want to go to this appointment. I don't want to go to this event. You know what? I'm just going to phone this in and not do my full engagement. Yeah. And then I saw my boss, and I came up to the boss, and he asked me, "Why did you miss this event? We were waiting for you. We were there for you at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you didn't come, and everyone was there. Where were you?" I was too embarrassed to admit I was in bed. I was too embarrassed to say, you know what, I didn't feel like it. And he looked at me and he said, "Well, don't be embarrassed. You excluded yourself. It is you who missed out." After that, there was not another event or another opportunity that I didn't go or at least take advantage of. See, every time you take a step back or you don't say yes to the opportunity, it's you who's really missing out. And that's what I learned.
Wow, nice little mental shift there. That's a good tweet.
Yeah.
Don't miss an event. Don't miss watching this episode.
Don't miss an event because you don't know what will change the trajectory of your life. One idea, one thought, just one word can crystallize a feeling in someone, and that will lead them to think and do things differently.
Boom. I like it.
Absolutely. I like it too. One of my favorite, I have many different quotes that always come in and out of my life. Depends on where I'm striving to, the projects I'm working on. But a few years ago, a quote that really resonated with me. And it comes from a writer and a psychologist, a doctor. His name is Dr. Viktor Frankl. Dr. Viktor Frankl, he survived Holocaust in Auschwitz in Austria. He's from Austria. And while coming out of World War II, he survived and he came to the United States. Sometime later, he wrote a book. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And in that book, he has a quote: "Everything can be taken away from a man, except the very last of human freedoms. To choose our attitude in any set of circumstances, to choose our own way. You have a choice. You can cry, you can look at the window and see the same view every day, or you can do something about it and say, today I will not be the same way. I'm gonna at least make one step, but it's gonna be different. You have a choice. Everyone has a choice, and if you don't have a choice, then you're dead."
And if you're watching this, we hope you aren't dead.
Okay, all right.
That was a deep quote, though.
Okay, I hope that was helpful. And I'm not always this serious. That's why you have to check me out and come to one of my events. What does it mean to be lit? It's this feeling. It's hard to describe. It's a feeling of being hopeful, being excited about something. I believe one of the greatest rewards for me in my life is being around people who are different from me, who do not look like me, who don't think like me, who don't talk like me, because difference is what makes me better. So I look forward to people who are different from me every day, and I hope maybe you do as well.
Awesome. I like that. That's a different meaning of lit too.
Sure. Yeah, I'm lit because I'm going to meet some great people. They're going to give me some of their ideas. I'll give them some ideas. In life, there's always somebody who will take something from you and somebody who will give you something. And you interact with everyone that way. So they enrich your life and you enrich their lives.
Wow. Enrichment.
I'd like to bring this to your perspective. I believe a lot of times we are not good listeners. We think we listen, but we only half listen. We spend a lot of time on our phones. We spend a lot of time thinking about what we're going to say next versus really being focused on the conversation. And I believe not listening, it doesn't necessarily breaks the relationships or destroys them, but I think it makes them less than. Because if you are with your partner or with your spouse and you check your phone and they're looking at you and they try to talk to you and you look at your phone, I think you create a disconnect. Mm-hmm. And that is disappointing. I'll be honest with you, I was the worst offender. I was always looking at my phone instead of talking to people. And then I realized that's just not the way to live. So that's my challenge to myself and to you. Make sure if somebody's talking, truly listen to them. Because that's everything they want to say, it's right there. We just don't listen, we don't pay attention.
We need to listen more.
I think it will be better. I think your life will definitely improve, yeah.
Somebody once said, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right?
That's right. You gotta use them in that proportion. But you know what, it's not necessarily like you can hear it over and over again, but until you experience it viscerally, emotionally, and spiritually, that you give a gift of your presence and listening to the person who is there with you, I don't think you will change your behavior. I think you really have to feel it. You have to taste the failure. You have to taste the disappointment in your mouth. You have to see, my goodness, my lack of listening and attention really destroys this connection. And if there's no connection, I'm really not interested.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Well, Mark, that pretty much wraps it up. But we do have, of course, one last question for you.
Yes, lay on.
That is, how can we, because we're dying to know, how can we connect with you? Any social media, any websites we can connect to?
Absolutely. Check out my website, markgai.com. I have a podcast, weekly podcast called Speak Brave. It's on iTunes, Teacher Radios. And check me out. Maybe I'll be in your town giving a speech. Come see me, and I'd love to meet you.
That's awesome. And what about any social media? Do you have Facebook?
Oh, yes. I have Facebook. Okay. I have LinkedIn. I have Twitter. Yes.
Excellent. All Mark Gai.
That's it.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on
to the interview. Thank you.
Thanks for accepting the invitation. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And thank you all so much for watching. To all my enlightened minds out there, please stay creative, stay positive, and stay lit.